5 below the poverty line. Tonight we're going to talk about some of the things that we were initially talking about, Second Amendment, and the upper 1%, and try to tie it into a more visible thing, even though they're doing it right in front of you, which I've stated multiple times. What we're going to do on this one is we're going to do a little bit of homework, and this is how the homework's going to go. I'm going to tell you about something that, because of the information that is in and out of the internet, it's no better information than if somebody gave you gossip here or there. I mean, there's news in there, but there isn't. I mean, it's diluted. You know, the newspapers are dying and everybody's relying on all that type of media stuff, so you can't really believe most of what you hear. So let me give you an idea of a structure. And part of your homework is, after I tell you about this structure, which is happening in the here and now, I want you to go back in time and look at different scenarios that are pretty close to it, but you gotta think about the time frame. You know? Time frame plays a pretty integral part in, well, where we all went wrong at some point in time. There is a point, and I think people have been looking for it for a long time. The point where we started where we fucked up, and all of a sudden greed became more important than anything else. After a couple of centuries here in the American dream, you figure it would have, would have evolved that quickly. So what we're doing is trying to look for where did it all start going. Alright, so here's your here's your assignment. This is today, so now you gotta think about yesterday. It could be a little bit different, but you have a cell phone. You pay a bill. You get shut off. You no longer can make calls. But for some reason, everybody else can get business calls. Business calls can go right through your phone. Anybody trying to collect a bill from you can call you on the phone despite the fact that your phone is off. And most people, and they know that you keep it on you all the time, and even if it's shut off, you can still find a Wi-Fi connection or something, so it is there, so it works out well. So somewhere in a line, there's like this big business meeting, never really introduced into the public light, because who needs to know anything about it? So they say, okay, you guys are like the top biggest businesses, you keep us as your main carrier for all your stuff. What we're going to do is allow, your businesses to make collection calls even despite the fact that the people that you're collecting from have their phones shut off. And they're like, okay, sounds like a good deal. It's that. Now, think about that, and then think about stuff that's been happening in the past that are similar to that type of ideology. Things have changed quite a bit. I worry about the future. It's not the way it was, and not too long ago, when people knew each other. People were neighbors, people helped out. Everybody's now enclosed in their little boxes in their house. So if you take any average middle class, lower middle class, upper middle class neighborhood, you can walk through it at 9 o'clock at night and hear dead silence because everybody's just locked inside. They just go out to do what little they have to do out there and come rushing back here and stay indoors constantly. The world has changed to that aspect. Almost like they know something. The way I always viewed it is us here on the bottom are just supporting the whole fucking weight of everything. The middle class, well, what's left of it is crumbling away on the weight of the 1% on the top. Bottom line is, you don't worry about crashing on the top of the bridge as bad as you do on the bottom of the bridge. So we have to push harder upward. As they keep gaining control and more, it just weakens everything and crushes down even further. Middle class probably know this. That's probably why they're helping. They do a good job in helping out the unfortunate more than, let's say, the rich to write off a tax rebate. It's a different thing. There are generally good people out there. I've seen them. Not as much as it used to be. Not with the ideologies that we used to have, but people want to pretend and say, hey, listen, we're in a new genre. We're talking about the Second Amendment and all that stuff. Well, that bill and all the stuff that was written back then, they're all pretty much going, hey, fuck it, man. We don't need to abide by those old-ass rules. Those people weren't really that educated to begin with, man. I'm fucking smarter than that shit. But technically you're not. The thing is that it was a great working idea, and it worked out really, really fucking good. There was plenty of land, people branched off, and people were, whatever, they didn't go hungry because they fed themselves. They did everything on their own. They grew out their own place. They let them run wild and put stakes and build a home there and grow from there. A different thing. Government wasn't really tactical enough. And they kept taking more money and more money and more money and all this stuff. And then they branched out, and then so the money got bigger and bigger and bigger. Government had to grow some more. Since now we are no longer 13 colonies, we are now branching that way. And so, more states, more divisions, more government necessary. And there's one constant factor from pretty much any kind of, the oldest book known to man right down to the Bible. The bottom line is there's the poor and there's the rich, and there's really nothing we can do about it. That's one constant in our entire human world. That's all that. Everything else changes around, building structures, things, thinking, all this, but that always remains the same. I just fear that the shackles of over-medication, misinformation through an entire media system that's it's already been polluted. Those of us who've seen its development, it changed dramatically. Back then you could say, ooh, it is on there, because only really reputable people could be on the internet. It's true, but it's not. You can sift through, have one title for something, and you can find 50 different hoaxes for it and 20 different things that say it's absolutely true, all by your fingertips. What better way to disguise the truth than to separate it into little segments, either pro or con, so that way you'll always be confused instead of actually straight out fact. And that's the way we're viewing everything, because we're spoon-fed everything from the television, from the internet. They always say that if a government fears you, that means they're doing their job. If you are in fear of the government, then they're doing their job. Well, that's it from live from below the poverty line.